I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you bought this absolutely state-of-the-art, high-performance jet engine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. It's a total marvel of modern engineering. It's shiny, immensely powerful, basically the pinnacle of human innovation. But there's one massive problem.
Let me guess. You don't have a plane to put it on.
Exactly. It is just sitting there completely unattached right in the middle of your company's parking lot. You literally do not own an airplane to attach this thing to.
So you've got all this, raw, explosive power, but absolutely zero way to harness it for a commercial flight. It's basically just a very expensive, very heavy lawn ornament.
That is exactly the reality of the artificial intelligence industry right now. And welcome to your custom deep dive. Today, we're looking at a really fascinating stack of sources. We've got corporate announcements, financial analyses, some leaked internal strategies.
Yeah, and they're all pointing to this, monumental shift in how the big tech giants are operating.
Right. Our mission today is to explore this massive, honestly unexpected tension. AWS, OpenAI, and Microsoft built the world's most advanced artificial intelligence. So why are they suddenly realizing that they need to send actual physical human engineers into your office just to make their software work?
It's a huge question. And we're going to really take our time unpacking this today. In fact, we are intentionally slowing our pace down a bit, maybe 15 to 20% slower than a standard business show.
Yeah, we want to give you time to really absorb these concepts.
Exactly, because the terminology and the strategy here, they represent a total paradigm shift. For the last couple of years, the entire arms race in tech was all about who had the smartest AI model.
All right. It was all about raw intelligence.
Yeah, laboratory benchmark scores, who could pass the bar exam the fastest, that kind of thing.
But the sources you shared with us, they reveal this really harsh truth for an enterprise buyer. A large corporation, they can't just buy a smart AI model in a vacuum.
No, not at all.
It doesn't do anything on its own.
Right, because the hardest part of artificial intelligence isn't, building a shiny prototype in a sterile lab. The absolute hardest part is taking that brilliant AI and forcing it to work safely and reliably inside a really messy, highly complex real-world business.
Let's get right into the reality of how this is playing out. AWS, Amazon Web Services, they aren't making their billion-dollar bets in a vacuum. They recently launched a brand new division called the Forward Deployed Team.
Yeah, the Forward Deployed Team.
Let's actually pause on that phrase for a second so you can absorb it. Forward Deployed Team.
It's originally a military concept, actually. A forward deployed team is it's a group of technical experts who don't work at their own company's comfortable headquarters.
Right.
Instead, they get sent out to work directly at the client's location, right on the front lines of the problem.
So they aren't just sitting in Seattle waiting for a customer service ticket to pop up.
No, they are physically moving into your building.
Wow. And what they're doing there is something AWS calls embedded engineering. Let's let that term sink into. Embedded engineering.
This is the actual practice of placing your top-tier AI engineers inside the customer's organization, so they become part of the client's daily workflow.
They're literally sitting in your cafeteria.
Exactly, looking over your employees' shoulders. And their goal there is to build full agentic AI systems. And, not just software that answers questions like a chatbot, but systems that take independent actions on your behalf.
Which honestly makes sense on a practical level. If you want an AI to autonomously negotiate your vendor contracts or, manage your global supply chain.
You can't just hand the client an instruction manual for that.
No, you really can't. But I want to explore the underlying mechanism here. Why is this so necessary? What actually happens when a clean, brilliant AI model hits a messy corporate reality?
The friction all comes down to something we call the implementation gap. Take a moment to think about that phrase, the implementation gap.
It's a great term.
Yeah, it's this massive treacherous valley that exists between a highly successful AI demo in a controlled environment and actual reliable production adoption.
Let's paint a picture of that gap for the listener. Imagine a company buys this cutting-edge AI model, and during the sales pitch, the AI instantly analyzes global market trends. It looks like absolute magic.
Pure magic.
Right. But then Monday morning rolls around, and the company tries to connect that AI to their own internal data.
And that is exactly where the magic stops. Because, the company's internal data is probably sitting in an undocumented, 15-year-old legacy database.
Oh, absolutely.
Half the columns are mislabeled, the security permissions are just this labyrinth of red tape, and the data formats are completely incompatible with modern cloud software.
So when the shiny new AI tries to read that data,
It panics, it hallucinates, it just breaks down.
so the implementation gap isn't just like a minor tech glitch.
No, not at all.
It's this realization that the product literally will not survive contact with the real world unless a highly skilled human being is standing right there to build custom API bridges and, untangle 15 years of corporate spaghetti code.
Which is exactly why you need an embedded engineer to navigate the customer environment. Let's isolate that term for a second, the customer environment.
Okay.
This is the unique ecosystem of a specific business. It includes their legacy software, their private data silos, and all the weird, highly specific regulatory rules their industry requires them to follow.
Wait, hold on. I need to challenge the business logic here for a second. AWS and Microsoft are cloud companies. Their entire, multi-trillion-dollar valuation is based on software margins.
Right, high margin.
You build the software once and you sell it 1 billion times with almost zero overhead. But sending a human engineer to sit in a cubicle in Ohio, that is the exact opposite of that model.
It really is.
It's wildly expensive, it does not scale, and frankly, it sounds like old-school IT consulting. So why would a bleeding-edge tech giant destroy their own profit margins to do human consulting?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, right? Why take on the immense overhead of human capital? Well, the answer is that enterprise buyers have had a massive wake-up call. They are flat-out refusing to pay massive subscription fees for models they can't use. I mean, if the cloud companies don't send human engineers to make the software work, the customer cancels the subscription.
Oh, wow. So they're protecting their core revenue.
Exactly. They're protecting their revenue by ensuring a successful enterprise rollout.
Let's pause on that phrase, an enterprise rollout.
Right. An enterprise rollout is the really complex, company-wide process of introducing a new system to thousands of employees simultaneously.
It's not just flipping a switch.
No. It requires training, massive security audits, behavioral changes. You cannot simply hand an agentic AI system to a traditional IT department and just wish them luck.
So AWS is spending, independent reports are saying it's a $1 billion investment on this forward deployed effort to ensure these rollouts actually happen.
Yeah, billion with a B.
And the sources point out this really fascinating detail. AWS claims their ultimate goal is to make the customer self-sufficient. Take a second with that word. Self-sufficient.
Being self-sufficient means the client no longer needs the tech vendor holding their hand.
Right.
They can manage, update, and run the AI systems entirely on their own. Basically, AWS wants to build the custom airplane around the jet engine, teach your pilots how to fly it, and then go home.
But AWS isn't alone in this panic, are they?
No, OpenAI saw this coming back in May of 2026. The creators of ChatGPT launched a division that they very bluntly named the deployment company.
Not the flashiest name.
No, it's not flashy at all, but it signals a massive shift in their strategy. They realized that to get global organizations to rely on AI every single day, they had to help them operationalize the technology. Let's look at that term. To operationalize.
I love that word. To operationalize something basically means taking an abstract concept or like a neat prototype and turning it into a standard, reliable, daily procedure that the business actually runs on.
Right.
It takes the AI out of the testing lab and puts it right on the factory floor.
And part of operationalizing AI is ensuring it never, ever goes down. So alongside the deployment company, OpenAI introduced a feature called guaranteed capacity.
Ah, guaranteed capacity.
Yeah, this allows enterprise customers to secure absolute certainty for their computing power.
Which is incredibly revealing because, if you were running a massive global logistics network on OpenAI's models, you can't have your entire supply chain freeze just because 3 million teenagers are suddenly asking ChatGPT for homework help at 4 in the afternoon.
Exactly. You need a dedicated, guaranteed lane of computing power.
Right.
And we saw Capgemini, which is a massive global consulting firm. They publicly threw their weight behind OpenAI's move. That public validation proves that enterprise buyers are demanding this level of deployment support. They need certainty that ties directly into their real business processes.
Which brings us to the latest contender, Microsoft. Just a few weeks ago, in early July 2026, reports leaked, and we're phrasing this cautiously, according to Reuters and other sources, that Microsoft is spinning up a new initiative called Microsoft Frontier Company.
Yeah, and the scale of their ambition here makes the AWS billion-dollar bet look like a warm-up.
Really?
If the independent media reports are accurate, Microsoft plans to embed thousands of their own engineers, along with industry-specific specialists, directly into customer businesses.
Thousands of engineers.
Thousands, focused solely on a new delivery model.
Let's pause there. The delivery model. So a delivery model is just the method a company uses to get its product to the customer.
Right.
And we are watching the delivery model for AI shift in real time. It's going from here's a login credential for a web portal to here's a team of 5 senior engineers who will live in your office for the next 6 months.
It's wild. And Microsoft is making this shift because customers are demanding speed to value. Let's take a moment to absorb that phrase. Speed to value.
It is the defining metric for tech buyers right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Speed to value simply means how fast a customer can go from paying billions of dollars for a new technology to actually seeing a financial return on that investment.
Yeah, and the longer the implementation gap, the worse the speed to value.
Right. To guarantee that speed, Microsoft's Frontier company is reportedly focusing intensely on delivering a measurable outcome. Let's stop on that term, too. A measurable outcome.
This is crucial. A measurable outcome is a specific, quantifiable result. It's the end of vague promises.
Exactly.
It is not a vendor saying, oh, our AI makes your team more efficient. It is a vendor saying, our AI reduced your international shipping delays by exactly 14.2%, which saved you $8 million.
Right. It's a result you can prove with hard, undeniable data.
Exactly.
So if we look at the big picture, we have AWS, OpenAI, and Microsoft all killing their own traditional software margins to hire these expensive human consultants.
Yeah.
On the surface, it looks like a desperate move just to save failing enterprise rollouts. But there's a secondary layer to this strategy that is absolutely brilliant and, frankly, a little intimidating.
You're talking about the long-term play. This highly intensive, services-heavy approach, it isn't just a life raft for struggling customers. It actually becomes a massive structural advantage. When a vendor does embedded engineering, they achieve deep workflow integration. Let's unpack that term. Workflow integration.
Well, workflow integration means the new AI is seamlessly, practically invisibly woven into the daily tasks of the employees.
Right.
It doesn't require opening a separate app or logging into a different dashboard.
Yeah.
It is just the natural, unavoidable way the work gets done.
And achieving that integration requires the vendor to learn literally everything about your company.
Yeah.
When Microsoft or AWS sends their top people into your headquarters, they spend months mapping out your proprietary data. They learn your internal politics. They map the exact sequence of approvals needed to launch a product.
They're essentially downloading the institutional knowledge of your entire corporation into their own engineers' heads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once they use that knowledge to build custom agentic AI workflows that your employees rely on every single hour of the day, they establish a permanent strategic moat.
Oh, that's a big one. Let's pause on that term. A strategic moat.
Yeah, just like a moat protects a medieval castle. A strategic moat is a sustainable competitive advantage that protects a company's profits from its rivals.
Deep workflow integration is the ultimate moat.
It really is.
Think about the switching costs here. If an AI vendor has built custom workflows that run your supply chain, your HR department, and your customer service, it becomes incredibly painful and prohibitively expensive to rip that vendor out and switch to a competitor.
You aren't just unplugging a software tool anymore.
No.
You'd be performing major life-threatening surgery on your company's daily operations.
By solving the customer's hardest integration problems, the AI company makes themselves practically irreplaceable. They aren't acting like consultants, they're acting like architects laying the foundation of your building. You can't just swap out the foundation later.
You really can't.
Now, we've thrown around some pretty heavy business jargon today, and since part of our mission is helping you master these concepts, let's take a beat. We're going to pause the business analysis and focus on your learning journey. Let's unpack the vocabulary we just used so you can confidently use it in your next meeting.
That sounds like a great idea. Let's recap them conversationally, and we'll leave a brief pause after each one so you can really process it.
Perfect. Let's start with our first pair of terms. We talked about a forward deployed team.
Right, which means sending technical experts out of headquarters and directly into the field or the client site.
And what they are doing out there is embedded engineering.
Exactly. Placing your engineers inside the customer's organization to build solutions side by side with them.
Okay, next up. The reason customers want this so badly is that they were demanding speed to value.
Speed to value, meaning getting a really fast, quantifiable return on their investment.
And to prove that value, vendors have to deliver a measurable outcome.
A measurable outcome. A specific result that you can actually prove with hard data.
But getting there is hard because of the implementation gap.
The implementation gap, that massive valley between a cool AI prototype and a system that actually works in production.
Which is why doing an enterprise rollout is so difficult.
An enterprise rollout, the complex, company-wide process of introducing a new system to thousands of employees.
Right. And AWS says their goal at the end of that rollout is to leave the customer self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient, meaning the client can run the systems entirely on their own without the vendor holding their hand.
Which means they successfully managed to operationalize the AI.
To operationalize, turning a neat idea into a reliable, standard daily procedure.
To do this, these tech giants are completely changing their delivery model.
The method a company uses to get its product or service directly to the customer.
Because they realize they have to navigate the messy customer environment.
The unique, complex ecosystem of a specific business, including their legacy tech and their data silos.
And when they navigate that environment perfectly, they achieve workflow integration.
Seamlessly weaving the AI into the natural daily tasks of the employees.
Which ultimately creates a massive strategic moat.
Yeah. A sustainable competitive advantage that locks out rivals because it's too painful for the customer to switch.
Excellent. Now that the vocabulary is completely clear, let's synthesize this entire deep dive. If you're going to remember just 3 concrete lessons from today's sources, what should they be?
Okay, takeaway number 1. AI competition has fundamentally shifted. It's no longer about model quality or who has the smartest algorithm.
GPT-4, Claude, Gemini, they are all incredibly smart.
Right. The competition is now entirely about the delivery model and the implementation capability. The winner is the company that can force the intelligence to work inside a chaotic corporate environment.
Okay, takeaway number 2.
Takeaway 2. Embedded engineering is currently the only reliable way to close the implementation gap. You cannot just email a software link to a client. You have to send the mechanics to the hangar to build the plane around the engine.
It's the only way to get from prototype to real-world adoption. And takeaway number 3.
Takeaway 3. This services-heavy approach isn't just a helpful bonus, it is a strategic moat. Deep workflow integration ties the vendor permanently to the customer environment. By taking on the heavy lifting, they are securing long-term ecosystem lock-in.
Which brings everything right back to you, the listener, and your own career. Because, this strategy isn't just theoretical boardroom talk.
No, it is heading directly toward your desk.
Exactly. When Microsoft, AWS, or OpenAI signs a contract with your employer, it is your specific daily workflows that they are going to be mapping out and integrating with.
Which is a little wild to think about.
It is. And building on everything our sources laid out about these tech giants learning a customer's internal processes to build those moats, it leaves me with a very unsettling thought to mull over today.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Well, think about it. If an embedded AI team from a massive tech giant comes into your office, if they spend 6 months learning all of your proprietary data, mapping out all of your internal constraints, and building your custom daily agentic workflows, who really owns the institutional knowledge of your company 10 years from now?
Wow.
Right. Are you simply buying a highly efficient tool to speed up your day, or are you actually outsourcing your company's central nervous system to a vendor that you can never, ever afford to fire?
That completely changes the nature of corporate ownership.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to your intro, if the jet engine manufacturer is the only one who actually knows how the airplane is wired together, whose airplane is it, really?
Exactly. We started this deep dive talking about a jet engine sitting uselessly in a driveway. Now the mechanics have arrived and they are actively building the plane around the engine, but we really have to wonder, who is going to end up sitting in the pilot's seat?
I love that.
We would love to hear your perspective on this. We have a direct question for you to answer in the comments wherever you are listening or watching right now. Do you think having a forward deployed AI team embedded in your office would legitimately speed up your daily work and provide real speed to value? Or do you think it would just create a massive layer of new corporate bureaucracy and permanent vendor dependency?
I am genuinely looking forward to seeing the debate on this one, because the reality of these rollouts on the ground is going to be wildly different from the polished press releases.
It always is. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to really unpack these concepts today. Remember, being well-informed isn't just about catching the latest headlines. It is about understanding the hidden mechanisms that actually drive the future. This has been your custom deep dive. We will catch you next time.